I don't know. I feel like you should at least make 300K or something like that in wholesale fees, or have 300K in the bank, even better, before you start hiring people, because everyone sees people like you, people like Pace, Brand, all the big guys. I'm like, oh, they're hiring people, so I feel I should. What you don't understand is, as an entrepreneur, you need to understand every part of the process. You said your struggle at the beginning was staying consistent on the money-making activities. Real quick, just in case people don't know what the money-making activities are, just quickly explain, what would money-making activities be? What should people be really, really focusing on when they start?
Well, remember, the more hands that you shake, the more money that you'll make, right? And so I think that you have to talk to people, right? You know, Brent Daniels talks about TTP, right? Talk to people, talk to people, talk to people. So look, Brent Daniels is talking about talking to sellers in particular, right? Talking to homeowners, aka direct to seller, which is great, right? I love that. But in general, if we peel back that onion, okay, it really doesn't matter who you're talking to as long as you're talking to people, right? So I could talk to 100 real estate agents every single day and they'll send me deals, right? I could talk to 100 wholesalers a day and I could JV with them and do deals with them. I could talk. So you just have to figure out what lane am I going to go down, right? What strategy am I going to go down? And then how many new people can I talk to every day? It's really the only money-making activity. Now, the methodology in which you do that, I think, can look and feel differently, right? So we live in 2023. So you don't necessarily have to shake physical hands with people, right? Like I said a minute ago, the more hands that you shake, the more money that you make. But now in 2023, you can virtually shake a hand, right? You can virtually meet a person, a human being. And so that allows us to meet more people in a day, right? Because if it were 1990, right now, then I'd have to go physically shake people's hands. So I wouldn't be able to. That's why, way back in the day, you wouldn't have been able to do 3 wholesale deals a day, right? Because now I'm doing 3 wholesale deals all across the nation every day without ever having to be there, right? I'm only able to do that with technology. So to answer your question, I think the main thing is just meeting people, right? You got to meet people. So whether you're going to text them, whether you're going to call them, whether you're going to email them, whether you're going to send them direct mail and try to get them to call you, whether you're going to call bandit signs, whether you're going to door knock, but pick something, right? And then do it 50 times a day. Do it 100 times a day. Challenge yourself to see how many times can I do it in a day.
I love it. I love it so much. So let's keep going through your journey. You're 18. You start doing wholesaling. How long did it take you to get your first deal?
9 months.
9 months. Gotcha. Guys, and I feel like it's pretty normal. I feel like most people that I hear are anywhere from 3 to some people even 12 months, and that's general. And I'm willing to bet the only reason, because you're really good at talking. I can already tell. And I mean, at least right now, you're very good at talking. Obviously, after 10 years of doing it, it probably was just that consistency, right? Do you think it was
100%.
mainly that?
Yeah, dude, I just wasn't consistent. Looking back, I could have probably done a deal in 90 days or less,
Right.
But I was young. I was all over the place.
How did you handle being that young and doing this business? Because for me, I remember myself at 18. At 18, all I cared about was getting girls, partying, and that was it. That was actually the 2 things I cared about, right?
Well,
so did these things distract you, or how did you stay focused on what you wanted? Because even if you're not 18, I think people get very distracted with other things that can happen in their life, like family and stuff like that. How did you stay focused on the goal and what you were trying to achieve?
Dude, I wanted it more than I wanted to breathe. I think that growing up, I wanted to make it in life, and obviously now, my why has completely changed. Now I've done the cool stuff. I've traveled the world. I've had multiple Lamborghinis. I've had an Audi R8. I've lived in a bunch of penthouses. I've done everything that a 28-year-old probably could do besides maybe buying a jet or a yacht, right? And so now my why is totally different, right? I'm the most fulfilled when I'm serving people and everything like that. But back then, dude, I just wanted to make a lot of money, and I think a lot of entrepreneurs in the beginning, they just want to make a lot of money, and there's really nothing wrong with that, because typically when you go out and do that, your why will change over time. It'll evolve, because you're going to go make a bunch of money, and then you're going to realize that money doesn't actually make you that happy, right? And then you're going to be like, oh dang, man, I gotta go figure this thing out. Like, I gotta go do something that actually brings me fulfillment and joy, right? And so, but yeah, dude, in the beginning, I just cut out every distraction, dude. I didn't, it was just, I wanted to succeed more than I wanted to breathe, right? Like, straight up, Eric Thomas, when you want to succeed as bad as you want to breathe, then you'll be successful, right? And I think for me, it was that simple, dude. I was sick and tired of being sick and tired, man.
I love it. I love it so much. So let's talk about whys for a second, because I think this is actually a really important topic that I don't talk enough about on this podcast, about being in tune with your why. Why are you doing all of this? I've seen so many people who are just starting out who say things like, I want to be a billionaire or something like that, right? But when I think of that, I'm like, okay, that's just a number. Why do you want to be a billionaire? Why do you want to do real estate? Why do you want all of that money? What are you trying to achieve? So I'm curious if you have any tips or tricks of being in tune with why you're doing the things that you do. It's just in general, not even just business, just why are you doing the things that you do, but especially in business, being in tune with that why. Do you have any tips and tricks to how you know your why, or how you stay in tune with it?
Yeah, I think we were talking about a minute ago, I think that your why will change over time, and so if you don't know your why, don't stress out about it, right? Like, it will change over time. But I think that at some point in everybody's life, I believe that everybody's why will eventually, if they're a good person, right, and they're not some egomaniac or whatever, the majority of people on planet Earth eventually will figure out that they're the most happy and fulfilled when they're serving other people, right? When you're, it's the old saying of, are you happier when you give somebody a gift, or are you happier when you get a gift, right? And you're typically 99 out of 100 people would tell you that they are happier watching somebody else get a gift than they are when they get a gift, right? And so I think
100%.
but I think in the beginning, though, I want to be clear. I think that in the beginning, the majority of young people that I meet, right, when you're dead broke, dude, when you're freaking struggling to pay your bills and you're sleeping on the couch or whatever you're doing, most of the time, what I've seen is, if people in the beginning, their only why, the only why they have is they just want to make a bunch of money, right? And I don't want to shame people for that, because I actually don't think it's a bad thing. I think that as time goes along, that will change automatically, right? Without you even really having to do deep work on that, it'll just kind of change and it evolve, right? And so I think that, but yeah, once you make a lot of money, your why will most likely become about other people.
I love it. And it's so true, right? I mean, I felt I had a really, I think the spiritual moments I've had in real estate where I feel the most happy, most grateful. The first one was my first deal. That was where I felt really spiritual, when I had my first deal. I remember feeling that and feeling super, super grateful and super, super happy. And every time after that has been when a friend of mine gets their first deal, when I got somebody else their first deal, when my acquisition manager got their first deal. Those are the moments where I'm like, yes, because I'm feeling it with them now. And I was a part of them achieving what they want to achieve, whatever their why is. So I think it's the secret to happipiness, right? I know people talk about money doesn't buy you happiness. I say BS. It depends what you're buying. If you buy if you build a whole village for an African village and just build houses everywhere, I know there are people who do that. That will buy you happiness, right? So it depends what you're buying with your happiness, and like helping and serving others. 100%, I agree. is the
Yeah,
secret to having a good life and being able to do it. And I think we are blessed once you become a successful entrepreneur to be able to give back, make content, show others how it's freaking done, right?
I agree. I agree completely, man. Yeah. Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I think that it totally does depend on what you're buying and who you're serving and who you're helping, and you definitely, again, money just amplifies who you already are, right? So if you're a dick and then you get a bunch of money, you're just going to be a dick with money, right?
Right.
And if you're a nice guy and you get a bunch of money, you're just going to be a really nice guy, right? A really generous guy or gal, right?
Yeah, love it. So, going through your story more, let's say you got your first deal. How long did you say? I say there are different phases of a wholesale business, right? You were wholesaling, right? That was your first business,
Huh? Yeah.
right?
Well, it wasn't
So,
my first business, but it was the first thing I did when I got into real estate. Yeah.
right, first thing getting
Yeah.
into real estate. So, when did you go from what I call at least the hustler stage, where it's just you're grinding out, to starting to hire VAs, starting to try to turn it into a company? Around how long did that take you? And then what were the challenges you were dealing with there?
It would have been a couple of years before I ever tried to really build out a team. I probably didn't try to build out a team until I was 21, maybe somewhere in that
Gotcha.
ballpark. So yeah, it took some time, dude. I did quite a few deals on my own before I ever was like, hey, let me scale it. You know what I mean? And and I'd love to get your opinion, but I think that's a big problem that people have today is that they try to scale way too soon.
100%. No, I agree. I mean, for me, it was about a year and a half before I hired anybody. And I think you should be having, I don't know, I feel like you should at least make 300K or something like that in wholesale fees, or have
Mhm.
300K in the bank, even better, before you start hiring people, because everyone sees people like you, people like Pace, Brand, all the big guys. I'm like, oh, they're hiring people. So
Mhm.
I feel I should. What you don't understand is, as
Yeah.
an entrepreneur, you need to understand every part of the process perfectly to
Mhm.
be able to train someone. Especially when I see people call cold callers, and they haven't done a deal, I'm like, you're just afraid. That's
For
just a
sure.
fear-based move, 100%. You just don't like the idea of cold calling, so you hired it, right? You're not going to be able to train that cold caller, right? I mean, I know there are agencies that teach cold calling, but like, you're going to be spending money and you don't know how to close a deal even, and you're not going to really be able to know if the person is doing their job or not, because you haven't done it
Yep.
and you have no idea, right? So yeah, that's definitely my opinion on that. I want to talk to you about mentorship for a second,
Mhm.
because it's cool that you were mentored by Cody. I know a lot of people who have very similar stories to you. Josiah Grimes, he has a very similar story to you in the sense he had Cody mentor him. Talk about mentorship for a second.
Mhm.
When do you feel like someone should get a mentor? Is it something they should get immediately? As what? How do you feel? How do you find a mentor? How does one go about mentorship just in general in entrepreneurship?
Yeah, yeah. Great question, man. I know Josiah really well. I've known Josiah for a really long time, and we're really good friends. I think that everybody should have a mentor. I think in really in every area of life. Now, does that mean that you have to go spend a bunch of money that you don't have in the beginning? I don't think so. But I think that we all need accountability and we need people to learn from, right? And really in every area of life. So I think spiritually, right? You need a mentor. You need somebody to look up to, somebody to lean on, right? And financially, you need somebody, right? In business, you need somebody. Relationally, I think it's extremely important to have somebody to ask questions and how do I navigate a relationship and how do I become a better partner? And so I think that we should all have mentors. And I have multiple mentors in my life. But yeah, dude, I think, look, if you're dead broke, man, and you're sleeping on the couch, trying to, make it work, then I don't think you should go drop 10 grand on a mentor, right? But I do think that you should as quickly as you possibly can, because I think it will change your life. I can't say that I would be where I'm at if I didn't pay Cody, right? And I didn't go through that process, and I didn't, and everything that came with it, right? Like eventually I became his partner, and then I met Josiah, and and Jameel, and and I did a lot of deals with those guys. And I don't think that would have ever happened had I not fronted the money, right? And put my money where my mouth was. So I think everybody, you said a little while ago, you're a part of Avengers. And I would imagine, I think Cody charges like 50 or 100 grand a year for that. I don't know that
Charges
to be
20. He charges 30 grand.
okay. So it's not cheap, right? And so I think that at every stage of entrepreneurship, we should be looking at how much of the money that I'm making is going to go back into education, right? And go back into networking and go back into, building community and building, my knowledge. Because sometimes, right, it isn't even about like, dude, I've mentored people, bro, that I'll say it like this. I've had people come through my mentorship program that they're already crushing it, right? But like, they want you sometimes you just have to pay to get into the room, and I think that people overlook that too, right? Like their ego will get in the way. It's like, dude, if I gotta pay to get into the room, to this day, I'll pay to get into the room, So anyways, to answer your question, I think everybody should at some point get a mentor. And I think don't go broke doing it, but do it as soon as you can.
Literally, I think it's the first purchase you should make. I think
100%.
I literally think that your first deal, pay off whatever credit card debt you got. If you have that type of stuff, I get it. Like if you're that on the line, make it where you'll be able to survive for another 3-4 months. But like, as soon as possible, I think you should get a mentor. My greatest decision ever was my a little bit of my story was I joined Jameel's mentorship, and then I got my first deal and immediately joined Pace mentorship because I just knew the value there, right? And I've been buying mentorships and stuff like that too. Avengers, I don't need any more training. I just want to meet a bunch of people who can afford 30K a year, right? Literally, that's it. I just want to be around the people. If you can afford 30K a year, I just want to be in that room where I had to pay 30K to be in there, because then I get to meet the people. I do deals with them. I learn I'm the dumbest person in Avengers. I'm the dumbest person in that room, business wise and experience wise, right? Not talking about IQ. I'm talking about just like in my experience, like as only doing it 3 years, right? I meet these people. I'm like, yeah, you're doing like 100 million, doing like all sorts of crazy stuff where I'm like, okay, this is where you need to be. You need to be the dumbest person in the room as much as possible, in my opinion. I think I just am reaffirming what you said about
completely agree
and stuff about and all of that stuff, because it's so important, right? On
I
all
completely
those
agree.
different levels.
Yeah.
Right.
I totally agree with what you're saying, by the way. 100%. Yeah.
Yeah. So when did you, I didn't know you had a mentorship. So when did you start mentoring people? And this is like an interesting thing for me. I don't think personally yet I want to start a mentorship, just because I'm in the almost $1 million a year range, right? But I don't know if a mentorship is right to do for me just yet. But when do you feel like you should transition and start giving back, right? When do you start developing from I'm doing it on my own, I'm doing my own business, I'm growing my own business, to I'm going to now start giving back, starting my own mentorship so that I can now officially start to help other people?
Great question. I don't know that everybody should become a mentor in terms of, let me word it like this. Everybody should be a mentor to somebody, but I don't know that everybody should have like a coaching program, right?
Makes sense.
That doesn't mean you, that just means the world, right? Because I think that everybody has a different calling. And so I think that I felt called to have a coaching program, but I did some one-on-one kind of coaching over the last 5 years or so, but I didn't do very much of it. I mean, dude, I probably mentored 20 people over the course of 5 years, right?
Gotcha.
And so in no way, shape, or form was it a coaching program. And then it got to a point where I was like, okay, I want to be the third biggest wholesaler, top 3 wholesalers in the nation. And then I'll start a program. I want to be the best of the best. I want to be in the top 5, right? And so I did. About a month ago, we dropped our first actual high ticket education program, and it's called Flippin' Simple. And dude, I'm having a lot of fun with it, and I definitely feel called to do that. I've got an amazing team. I have amazing partners, and I really am not that involved in my wholesaling company anymore. You know, I am involved, but not I used to be, right? And so I don't know. I think that if you feel called to do it, then do it. Definitely don't do it too soon. I'm with you on. I've seen a lot of people make a couple hundred grand and then try to start coaching people. I do not think that is the right thing to do because I don't think you're qualified, right? And by the way, in any industry, not just wholesaling, right? So I've seen this in every industry where people will go have a little bit of success and then they'll try to go teach it. And I think it's too soon, right? I think you have to master the craft, and then you've earned the kind of right or the ability to coach, you know? And so I don't know, dude, because here's the thing, man. You know, there's a lot of things you could go do, right? So even for you, you know, you have to really, when it comes time where you're like, all right, do I want to start a coaching program? You really have to take a step back, right? And you have to ask yourself, okay, I've got 24 hours in the day, right? And I've got $1 million in the bank or 3 million bucks in the bank or whatever, right? What will yield the highest ROI, right? And 8 times out of 10, it won't be mentoring people because it takes a lot of time, a lot of energy, and a lot of money to run a coaching program. You know, I spend 30 grand a month, 40 grand a month on, you know, just managing my social media, managing everything, right? So, you know, but again, if you feel called to do it, not you, but anybody watching, if somebody feels called to do it and they've made 7 figures, you know, then I think that they definitely have the right to do it.
I love it. Awesome. So I'm gonna plug everything at the end. I'll give you a chance to plug everything at the end. We'll go into coaching program, anything else you want to plug. I also want to know how would you talk to, because this is just something I've been thinking about, and this is also one of the reasons why I bring on incredibly successful people, is to just ask them questions when I've been thinking about different problems in my life, people who are ahead of me. It's the secret, guys. Just start a podcast, invite people who are incredibly rich and famous on, and then you get to talk to them for an hour. What do you feel is an effective way to help people out when they're sending you questions? Like, I'm starting to do social media. I'm doing at least a reel a day, doing all of that stuff. And people are starting to notice getting there. I get questions all the time. Maybe do you feel like maybe just do a live every week where we answer questions, or maybe because I can't get on the phone with everybody? What do you think is like really good, the best way when you're starting to get that traction to help people who are asking you questions and doing stuff? What do you feel is the most beneficial way to start doing that?
Yeah, it can be tough, man. You know, I think you just got to do the best that you can. You know, you will get to a point where you can't help everybody, right? And that is something that I had to overcome. You know, I'm at a point where I can't get back to. I mean, dude, I'll be real, bro. When Gary Vee and some of these guys get on social media and they're like, I reply to everybody, blah 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 blah. I'm like, dude, I call BS, bro. It's just
Right.
so it's such bullcrap, dude. I hate that they say that because I don't believe it for a second. I don't believe it for a second that they reply to everybody, right? It isn't humanly possible. It literally would be impossible to do, right? So I think that you have to do the best that you can. But I love your idea of, like, you know, you're gonna start to notice a trend, I think, of like your FAQs, right? Like the frequently asked questions that people are asking you over and over and over again. And then
Yeah.
I think you start making content around that. And then, yeah, you go live, you know, build a community, build a free community in the beginning. You know, I think some of the best coaches that I've seen, you know, if you do eventually want to get into coaching, like personally, I would start prepping for like a year or even a year and a half of just like providing free value all the time. Because the people that you provide free value to will eventually pay you, right? Because they're going to be the first people to be like, oh, wait a minute, like, this guy provided me 18 months of free value. I wonder what he'll provide if I pay him, right? And so definitely you just go live, create a Facebook group, create like Discord, however you kind of want to do it, but and just provide as much value as you can. Make content around people's questions and dude, it's a lot of work though, bro. I'll tell you what, man. You know, I want to ramp it up way more. I'd love to be putting out probably about 5 times the amount of content that we're putting out right now. We probably post 5 times a day right now on average.
Nice.
And I'd love to be probably at about 15 a day.
Love it. Awesome. Yeah, I mean, it takes up a lot of time too, and being able to get all the editing and getting all the people there. I don't have even close to the staff that you got for social media. I just have my social media manager who gives me advice and edits stuff and stuff like that. But
Yeah.
talk a little real quick just about the power of social media, just because I feel like this is something I discovered really late in the journey. And if I had discovered it earlier, I'd have been so much more on it. Talk about how becoming social media relevant. I mean, you have like 500,000 followers on Instagram. I don't know how many you have on YouTube and other platforms, but how has that changed your business? How does that affect your business? How does it affect your life? And just talk about the importance of it real quick.
Yeah, massively. I think that social media, you have to do it. Everybody should be doing social media, even if they don't intend on ever getting to the level that you're at, or something like that, right? I think that even if your goal is to make 80 grand a year on the side as a wholesaler or a real estate investor or whatever, I think everybody should be on social media, because ultimately you're going to meet people, you're going to connect with people, you're going to network with people. And it really is just a great way to put yourself out there. So I obviously realized that a long time ago. I still probably got in a little bit too late on YouTube and everything like that, but we're making a lot of progress, and I'm very happy with where we're headed. But dude, it is so important, man. Like I would encourage anybody to double down on social media.
Love it. So, my man, we're getting to the end. We got 5 more minutes left in the podcast. I want to shoot you with the last question that I ask everybody, which is basically, if you could go back to Austin when he was just starting out in real estate, that 18-year-old kid who's just starting to learn about it, just paid for the mentorship with Cody, what would you say to your 18-year-old self, knowing everything that you know now?
Yeah, dude, great question. I'd probably say just go bigger. Go bigger. Go harder. Go faster. Don't slow down. Don't second guess yourself. Like, just go, and even today, I think that if you interviewed me a decade from now, and you asked me today what my advice would have been to myself right now, it would probably be the same thing. I'm sure that even right now, I could be thinking bigger. I could be going bigger. I could be doing it bigger. I could be doing more. And I think that we all limit ourselves, and we all put a ceiling on what we can achieve. And it's just a bunch of crap, dude. That we're human, right? Like, we're literally God's highest form of creation. You could have been a freaking duck. You could have been a walrus. You could have been. Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, we're human beings, right? Like, we literally rule the planet. Like, we're capable of anything, right? We could do anything we put our mind to. The only limit is ourself, right? So whatever you think you can do, I love Grant, the 10x, right? Because it's so true, and you could do 100x, you could do 1,000x, right? Whatever you think you can do, multiply it by a minimum of 10. You could do a minimum of 10 times more than you think you could do. So yeah, dude, that would be my advice to my younger self, would be like, man, you could do it bigger.
I love it. I love it so much, my man. My man, what can my community do for you? Where can they find out about your coaching program? What's the name of it again? What do they look up? Where can somebody do deals with you? I know you're in Arizona. You said all over the nation. So is it any nation? What stuff can we put on here for the people to go check out?
For sure, man. Yeah, I really appreciate that. You can find me on any social media platform at Austin Zaback. My name is right there on the screen. And then, if you're interested in getting coached by me, you can go to www.flippinsimple.com. Flippin' without the G.
Gotcha. Love it. How about deals? How do people reach out to you or your team to do deals, right? And I spelled that right.
Yeah, I love that, dude. Yeah, shoot me a message on IG. That'd probably be the best way to reach out to me. And then, either myself, I'll either reply, or I'll have somebody on my team reach out to you, and we'll do deals with you. And even you, dude, if you ever want to do deals, I'd love to do deals with you, bro.
You're literally nationwide? You're in
Nationwide.
every single market.
Every market. So, I mean, obviously we're not in, I don't think I've ever done a deal in
metro
North
areas.
Dakota. Yeah.
We're not, you do deals, Denver, Colorado Springs, Northern California. Mm-hmm. That's where I do deals. So cool. Yeah, man, I'll reach out to you. Let's do some deals. That'll be freaking awesome.
Yeah, I'll give you my number here in a little while, and then we'll get connected.
I love it. I love it, bro. Cool, man. Austin, you absolutely killed that, guys. Please put like fire in the chat to the people watching right now. You absolutely destroyed that. That was an awesome, awesome interview. I truly appreciate you coming on. You are so down to earth. I love people like you who have the 500K subscribers, have all the social media clout, but are still just very down to earth and absolutely down to come on podcasts and hang out and chill. So I appreciate you,
that,
man.
It means the world to me, man. I really appreciate you, and you're a great interviewer, dude. So keep doing what you're doing, and I admire what you're doing and all the hard work you're putting in. And dude, you're gonna absolutely, you're already crushing it in life, but I know you're gonna do massive, massive things.
Let's do it, dude. All right. Next week, we'll be back on our normal time, Thursday, 5 p.m. PST. We'll get back to it. Today, I switched it up because I'm going to be in Phoenix this week for Brent's Mastermind. That's why I wasn't going to be here or I couldn't do it on Thursday like I normally do. So, guys, next week, Thursday, 5 p.m. PST. Austin, thank you so much again. Yeah. Guys, next week, I'll catch you guys later. Skorch the Fears. Let's freaking go!